Hello again. So welcome to my channel, and this will be another video for my moon sign panels. And this time we are going to talk about Leo moon with Vika. And thank you, Vika, for joining with me. Vika also has Leo moon, so she will also share her own experience with it. So first, you can introduce yourself to your viewers, and if people want to contact you, so that they can connect with you. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me. I love your work, so I was like, yes, let's do this. My name is Vika Bradford. I'm a karmic astrologer, so I kind of focus more on, what has happened in previous incarnations and the signatures that have been brought through so we can break through the barriers and find liberation in this life. That's really my main focus here. And yeah, we do a lot of shadow work over here in my realm of astrology.
Yeah, that's perfect. So I love this type of work as well. So I'm pretty interested too. Okay, so thank you. And I will also tag your account so that if
Thank
people
you.
want to contact, they can find you. So this time we are going to talk about Leo Moon. So this has been interesting journey starting with Aries Moon. So now what is interesting is that like when people watch Taurus Moon session and Gemini Moon session, they immediately pick the difference of energy. So Gemini moon so talkative and Taurus moon so calm and peaceful energy in the session. So I'm also curious about the Leo session. Okay, so for Leo moon, when you say Leo moon or when you see Leo moon in someone's chart, what do you think about first?
Mm, okay. So the minute I look at a Leo moon, of course, I'm seeing a little bit of reflection of myself automatically. So I'm going to be like, okay, there's a resonance in what I understand energetically. But from a karmic perspective, I'm automatically drawing in, this emotional baggage. I kind of picture it like a little bag that we bring in from life to life, like throw it over our shoulders and we just carry it through. And we're like, okay, I'm still doing this. I'm still working through this. So we've got those comfort zones and we've got a lot of mastery there. And so automatically I'm seeing someone who's got, wounding around being seen, being special, being in the eye of everyone. And there's kind of this energy with a Leo moon, like when they walk into a room, everyone's eyes kind of gravitate toward that energy, right? And now, depending on what's going on in the chart, that's going to be received differently inside of the person. But there is sort of a magnetic pull that happens for better or for worse. And so, I see a high octave of this is like people receive it and say, I want to shine, I want to sparkle, I want to be special. But then there's this other energy that's like, ooh, you're seeing too much of me. I have to put a mask on. I have to protect myself. Like, don't see the true essence of me. So automatically I see like this wound around um, what I like to call either the creation wound or the royal wound, where it's like, ooh, there's a lot of baggage around that specialness inside of the person.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I also have Leo sun, so I kind of resonate with what you have. Okay, so then the first keyword will be attention. So
Mhm.
they can like we know like sometimes one side of Leo, as you said, wants attention. One side of Leo does not want attention. Actually needs privacy.
Yeah.
So and as you also said, Leo shines. So sometimes it is difficult to keep private when you shine so much. Actually, so
Yeah.
how does a Leo moon manage that?
Oh my goodness. And that's a great question for me because in my chart, my moon is actually conjunct my midheaven, my Jupiter, my south node. Like it's all up there in the top of my chart. Like everyone's seeing it, right? So I always look at this energy like heart on the sleeve kind of energy too. So I feel like every Leo moon kind of has their heart on their sleeve because it shines, right? All the emotions shine, all the feelings. It's like it's hard to turn them off. So it's interesting to process this, and I really work a lot with meeting the edge of visibility, right? And accepting that we have to find what makes us feel special internally rather than externally, right? It's the external validation needs to be it's like washed away, but it's a constant process forever and ever. In coming into the medicine, right, which is Aquarius on the other side, to say, I actually don't need the external validation of everyone else to feel special. It actually comes from within. And that is a lifelong journey, continuously unearthing who we really are and accepting who we are at like a baseline. That's what I'm always working with is like, I have to not worry about them so that I can express me.
Yeah, exactly. The validation comes internally. So once you are satisfied with yourself, so you will be good to go. That's a good one. Okay, so that will be a good advice for the viewers, I believe, with Leo
All
Moon.
Leos.
Yeah, all Leos, exactly. And then I also see kind Leo energy kind of being the trendsetter. So for that, yeah, there is some kind of curiosity around Leo, what they are doing, what they are working on, like how they are busy. And especially when people have 4,000 Leo, 8,000 Leo, or 12,000 Leo, they don't
Yeah.
really enjoy that. So I have people personally telling me that. So people are so curious about what I do, what I wear, where I go, and don't like it. So, yeah, of course, like this house placement might also add some different layers. And as you said, yours is in the 10th house. It is so visible out there. And then I'm coming to the creativity side of Leo. So Leo is about music, creativity, fun, art, entertainment. So how does Leo Moon embrace these things?
Mm. Which is so, I love that you say this because I actually see all those things as the medicine for the wound, right? Because the Leo naturally wants to do all those things. And then what I find in childhood is they're creative, they're doing all the things, they're making the art, they're like, look at me, look at what I'm doing. It's so special. And then the world comes in and says, it's not that special. You're not that special. Who do you think you are? Do you really think that that's going to work out? Like I remember something said to me over and over when I was a kid was I wanted to be a singer-songwriter, did that, got to enjoy that, didn't love it, moved on right to astrology. But the thing that always came through was that's a 1 in a millionth shot. Do you really think you're gonna get it? Do you think you're that special, right? And so I think what happens is as a Leo moons, we want to do all these things. The world tells us, don't do that. That's not going to work out. We shut it down. And then we get into our adult years and we're like, that creative spark's still there, but we're so afraid to do it. So when we're working with this energy, finding the creation that feels best for you internally, whatever that is, it doesn't have to look one way, is like how you start healing yourself, right? To say, do I want to paint? Do I want to make music? Do I want to sew? Do I want to anything, right? Anything, even making children can be a creative act, right? So what is that creative act that feels like you must do it? And if you don't do it, like a part of your soul is actually going to be missing. It's like, I feel like you have to go through that, find it, use it, release the external validation and do it for you, right? Not that it has to turn into a business or it has to be monetized or you have to get famous. It's just like creating for the act of creating.
Exactly. So that will kind of cherish your soul. So actually, moon is what makes us feel fulfilled and cherished.
Yeah.
So creativity will cherish you, even if you just do it for yourself at your home. So yeah, that will be a good thing to do for Leo moon. I also like had some Leo clients, Leo moon clients. So as you said, they wanted to be singers, painters, actors, but their family said, okay, you should have a kind of real job in
Yeah.
quotation. So yeah, I often see that too with Leo moon, especially or Leo placements. Okay, so that creativity will be an important thing. We will come back to that. And uh, other than this, with Leo, so there is this side of attention, and sometimes Leo people are kind of notorious for being the drama queen, let's say. So,
Yeah.
how do
Yeah.
you deal with that patch?
Oh my gosh. It's funny too. I had a session recently. It was an Akashic Records session, and they went into like one of my things I'm working through, and it was literally drama. I was like, nailed it. And that drama, it's so interesting because I find Leo moons, most of them burn hot and quick. So it's like the drama comes through, we feel the emotion, they're so big, we boil over, and then we're done with it. right? We don't really hold on to it for very long. I find even as in my younger years, I didn't hold on to grudges. I kind of just needed to like boil,
Mhm.
explode, and then I was okay, right? Where there are other energies that are going to hold on to that grudge for a long time. Like a Taurus moon might hold it, keep it, right? And fester with it before they process it. So I find with the drama, the biggest thing to do is like being a witness to the experience, right? Is to become the observer. Now I have a cluster, a Virgo cluster as well. So becoming the observer is really easy for me, but I'm always in this push and pull, sun and moon, between being the observer, doing, the logical thing, and then this Leo drama that comes in. So I feel like we have to almost step out of our drama while we're in it and say, am I doing this because I must? Am I doing this just to create and stir up drama? Am I doing this for some sort of attention? What kind of attention am I seeking? And is there a different way I can get it? Right. And is this drama actually serving me? Now, sometimes inside of that, you're going to choose the drama, right? A Leo moon's going to be like, I'm in it. I'm going to choose it. I'm doing this. But then if we can kind of become the observer and say, ooh, I see what I'm doing. It's actually not supporting anyone around me. Maybe if I take a step back, go into my bedroom, take a breath, process my feelings, possibly alone. A lot of the times I find for my own Leo moon, I need to go be alone and I need to process it internally. And if I can do that, I can step back from my drama and then not, sort of spill it onto everyone around me. I also feel like another piece of this is remembering that my drama affects others, right? It's not just impacting me, it's impacting my husband, it's impacting my family. When I was younger, it's like my drama actually hurts my mom. So I'd have to step back and say, do I want my drama to harm the people around me? Or do I want to take, a more logical approach to what's happening in my life? So I feel like it is a big act of witnessing.
Yeah, exactly. So, to observe the situation and to look from the inside and outside and to evaluate people and to see that how it will affect you and others and how it will benefit you, as you said perfectly. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I hear lots of texts on the internet about Leo and drama queen. So that's why I wanted to ask it.
Oh my gosh, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Exactly. Okay. So, and then let's dive into relationships. So, in relationships, in synastry charts, moon is pretty important. So, basically, what does a Leo moon need in intimate relationship and sexuality?
Ooh, that's a good one. And I have a Leo moon husband as well.
Oh,
So we like really support each other. And it took me getting into astrology to understand why he was so supportive and nurturing. Now it's in the sixth house too. So he has this Virgo Leo thing supporting my chart. Um, and I find the biggest thing we need is like unbounding attention and love and just this constant balanced but constant um, affirmation that we are the light of that person's life. As terrible as that can sound, on an external view, people are like, that's too much. My partner is able to just consistently be like, you are the most special thing in the world. I adore you. Here's all my love and attention. And we also have our boundaries, right? We also have really healthy boundaries where he's a big Pisces too. So he goes into his cave, I go into my cave, but there's a constant praise that happens between the two of us. I'm constantly praising him, he's constantly praising me, and we're always celebrating each other. And I feel like that's some of the biggest things Leo moons need. We need celebration of just being our unique individual selves and shining our lights and having someone say, yeah, you are special. And I do appreciate being in your energy and you are, a light in this world. And that praise definitely soothes the Leo inside me to say, oh, okay, someone really does see me. And I would say my husband is the person in the world who sees me the most. He's a photographer and I do modeling for him. So I'm his muse, right? So that literally soothes that Leo moon in me that wants to be special. So I think that's one of the biggest things I would say for that one.
wow. So that's a good keyword. Someone who sees me, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a perfect
Yeah.
keyword. Okay. So then let's talk about from the opposite view. We know that Leo is a fixed sign, so actually Leo does not give up easily. But what makes a Leo moon give up on a person or
Ooh.
a relationship?
Oh, yeah, that's true. We will stick around a long time, but I feel like the biggest, trying to think of the reasons I give up on people. Usually, okay, so another one actually is actually linked into that not being seen, not feeling heard. One of the biggest thing that's actually reared its head recently with a friendship that ended was that I wasn't allowed to express my emotions. I wasn't held in space to say like, okay, I'm actually feeling something and I want to talk about it. I want to express it. I want to feel it safely. And that person was like, no, shut it down. Shut it. Like, I don't want to hear about it. If you want to continue this friendship, then there can be no emotion. And I was like, wow, that's actually not safe for me at all. And that's something, if I'm not safe to express my bigness and my too muchness, like when people are like, you're too much, right? If I don't feel safe to express and feel that too muchness, that's generally when I'm going to say this friendship, this partnership, this relationship is not for me. And if a person can hold space for me being too much and like that's just okay, that's when I'm going to stay in the longevity and never quit on that person.
Yeah, exactly. So that is actually, as you said, safe space for expression. So when you
Yeah.
express that too muchness, so you feel safe actually in the relationship or in friendship. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with that. Okay. So then let's also think about some, let's say, negative qualities of Leo moon. So as you are also focusing on karmic astrology and you are doing also shadow work, so what things would you add more for negative qualities?
Okay. There is definitely pride, definitely at the top of the list, the pride. I will own that when I was younger, now my South Node is on my moon as well, right? In Leo, and then my Jupiter. And there's just so much there, so much karma there. Um, I thought or felt that I was the most special thing in the world, right? When I was younger, it was like I should get every lead in every play and I should be picked first for everything. And, I should be celebrated as number one. And it was always like, oh my God, I'm number two. I'm number two. I'm number two. It was always like this, right? And I had to ground into actually, when I first read Jan Spiller's book, Astrology for the Soul, about the North Node, South Node, that was my first introduction into real astrology. I was like, oh my God, I've been operating in my South Node my whole life, expecting all of this validation again to come through that I'm number one, right? And I grounded into, oh my gosh, like I actually don't need to be number one. I actually don't need to be the most important person in the room. And another thing that came through, which is like a negative trait of Leo, was my laziness, right? I wanted the role without the work. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm not going to practice. I'm not going to sing. I'm not going to like sing and practice at home. I'm just going to show up and be the most special person in the room, right? Whereas everyone else was like practicing. They were, with their instruments constantly working on it, working on it. I was like, no, I'm just going to be amazing. So my laziness and my arrogance were definitely part of my uh, part of my pitfall and part of my negative energies because I just expected it to be handed to me. I didn't have to
yeah.
put any work in,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
exactly. So you put it so well. So
Yeah.
how did you get this awareness? Like what happened then you got this awareness?
I swear, I swear to God, it was when Neptune moved into Pisces in
Mhm.
2011, 2012. I remember the day, like the day it happened, it was like something dropped in, and I was like, oh, I'm not just this. Like I'm more than my mind. And I remember I went and I actually happened to buy a book, a self-help book, which is called The Untethered Soul. And I happened to just pick it off the shelf. It like fell off the shelf for me. And I took it home and I was reading it. And he's talking about in the book, like, you are not your mind. Take a second now and just hear yourself say hello inside of your head. And I was like, okay, hello, hello. And I was like, oh my God, I'm witnessing myself say hello inside of my head. There's something else watching my consciousness that is actually me. And that's when all the awareness dropped in of, okay, I'm not everything I thought I was, right? And so 2012, 2011, 2012 is when I started to get this awareness. I started to go through all my little, became a Reiki practitioner, became this, became a yoga instructor, astrology dropped in. And then that's when astrology came in. All this awareness of, oh my gosh, I'm actually not what I think I am. And there are a spectrum of octaves of my expressions, right? I can be this Leo moon or I can be this Leo moon.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm usually somewhere in the middle, right? Operating from low to high, fluctuating back and forth. But when I was able to understand that I'm expressing these archetypal lessons through my energy, it was like that observer came in and was like, oh, I'm just witnessing all of this. And I get to choose, right? And also through the karmic expression, it's like, these are my deepest soul lessons to conquer. I don't want to be arrogant anymore. I don't want to be prideful anymore. I know I've experienced many lives of being in the spotlight, being special, being, a royal. Like I have these many lives where I know I've lost it all in those lives. Now I'm like, okay, I'm actually reclaiming my power of being myself and humbling myself. So that's really when the observer came in.
Yeah, exactly. So, as you said, you can be on this side or this side, and you observe and decide. Everything has like shadow side and the light side. So,
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
exactly. And one more thing I want to ask you. So, I also have my sun conjunct my south node, and I have
Okay.
met some people like personal planets or moon conjunct south node. So, for a long time, for example, it was so difficult for me to be in public places, markets, crowded places. So I did
Yeah.
not like those public places. Did you also have that with?
For me, yeah, I have a highly sensitive system to begin with, and being in, crowds was never one of my favorite things ever. Still to this point, in this day, I'm like, I just don't like this. I want to be in a little bit more solitude. I think this is very linked to the Leo energy of in like when we look back to Leo lives, often these people weren't in mass groups, right?
Yes,
They were elevated into private spheres. And I
yes,
think that's part of why it's so overwhelming to be with so many people because we were sort of plopped out over here. And the masses, that Aquarius energy opposite side, is it's harder to operate in.
exactly. So that's what I think as well.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah. Okay. So then we know that like many people know that moon also represents mothers and motherhood in astrology. So let's also talk about these two themes. First, Leo and their mothers. So how do they see their mothers? What type of mother do they need? So how is their relationship with their mothers mostly? So yeah, we can talk about that.
Okay, spectrum again.
Uh-huh.
Um, so it's like when a Leo moon incarnates, they expect mom to be one thing. Often what happens, and depending on aspects, of course, and the house it's in, another thing happens, right? We expect this, we get this. So the expectation is mom is going to be your best friend. She's going to see you, she's going to celebrate you, she's going to think you're the most special thing in the whole world. She's going to just be like, oh my God, look at my shiny little angel, this sun child glowing. Oh my goodness, you are the most important thing that's ever happened to this world, right? And we think we're going to get that praise everywhere in the external world as well. So that can happen is like, I expect this. We can get it. Mom does think all that. My mom was like that. She is like that. She thinks I'm the most important thing in the whole world. Like I'm God's gift to this world. That was not a good medicine when I went into the real world, right?
Yes.
And realized, oh my God, I'm not as special as my mom told me to be. On the other end of the spectrum with Leo, it's like, okay, we expect mom to make us special, and mom's actually trying to make herself special. Mom's actually being the star of the show. She's being the drama queen. She's being the one who's over the top and getting all the attention or seeking all the attention, right? So we kind of exist somewhere in the spectrum of, oh my God, mom's constantly stealing my attention,
Uh-huh.
or she's doting on me so much that I don't have any sovereignty in knowing that who I actually am because I've kind of been molded into their image. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So again, it's a spectrum. So what I often see is that like Leo moons have a kind of complicated relationship with their mothers. Sometimes, as you said, they think their mothers are too much. Sometimes they are too friendly. Sometimes they are like kind of enemies and then best friends. So yeah, this is or there's a competition actually sometimes like
Yeah.
with,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. There can definitely be a competition. I was lucky not to experience that competition, but I've seen it with many clients. And for me, I actually got the energy of my mom trying to live her dreams through me, right?
Uh-huh.
She didn't get to live that Leo experience. Now, my mom has a Leo cluster as well. Of course, my whole family is a Leo Virgo.
Mhm.
So she didn't get to do her Leo thing. So she kind of poured that into me, just poured it down into me. And then my dad's a big Leo as well. So he actually was on the other side of the spectrum being like, oof, don't shine, don't shine. It's terrifying. So it's interesting to see the dichotomy now that I'm older. I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. So then, what about the motherhood or parenthood for Leo Moon? So
Mm,
yeah,
yeah.
like
So
exactly.
actually like being the mother,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So again, it can go high-low spectrum. How are you going to
Mhm.
operate? Are you going to be, now I witnessed this in my own, am I going to, bring a child into this world? And if I do, I have these big fears around that because I'm like, I don't want to put my explosive anger around them, right? There's a big Leo energy that I'm working through is healing my anger in this life or healing my that explosive pot that needs to boil. It's like I don't want to show that to them that like that's my expression, but that's something I actually am working to heal. And then there's these other things like if I'm the drama queen, well, they have space to be seen. Or there's actually the selfish nature of the Leo moon that comes in. It's like, I want my time. I want my space. I want to be alone. I want, I don't, there is, my husband and I talk about this all the time. We're like, are we too selfish to have kids? Right? Because all of a sudden, all of the me energy has to go somewhere else. And would there be bitterness and resentment in that I've now lost that energy, that time for myself? So that's one spectrum is like your time for you as a Leo moon is gone. And how are you going to experience that? Having to give everything to a child. Now, if that all goes well, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, you're going to there's going to be a bit of a smothering energy that happens with the Leo moon. I feel like now my moon is aspecting Pluto, so I've got that smother right in there, right? So I have to be very conscious about not smothering children, right? Not giving them too much love, not worrying about them. But just the Leo moon in general is gonna, just like my mom, want to make them feel the most special in the world, the most seen, the most important. So where's the balance between you're special, but also figure it out. And I see you, but also you must see you. And I feel like that would be the hardest balance point is to just help your child recognize themselves. Now, a person who's in their highest expression, doing the work, growing, they're going to continuously be like, you're special because you're special, right? Work on it from within. But someone who's not operating from that high is going to continuously give that external validation. So it will be a push and pull, I feel like, with that energy.
Yeah, exactly. So again, as you say, it's a spectrum. So what I think is that Leo moon mothers so might also want their child to be perfect, so they can kind of be oppressive, and at the same time,
Yes.
maybe they want their children to realize their dreams. They can be supportive, or
Yeah.
they also want their children to get attention, but maybe the child does not want that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's all about spectrum, as you said.
Yeah, and it's totally, the mom that is pushing their child into pageants or like
Mhm.
into music lessons, and the kids like, I don't want to learn this, or they're being like, oh, you're so amazing. Everyone says you should be a model. Go be a model. Go be a model. And the kid's like, I actually don't want to be a model. I'm not interested in this. That can be that mother. I feel like that oppressive energy you're speaking to. So much of like, I see you. You're amazing. So let me push all of this onto you rather than letting that child say, oh, well, I'm actually interested in this, right? And
Mhm.
just letting them be themselves. It's so interesting how the chart is like the Leo moon child wants to be themselves, and then we end up with parents that force us to be something else. It's so interesting because it's like the chart wants you to sort through your crap.
Exactly. And with Leo Moon, actually, like it is so fixed and like they know what they want actually with Leo
Oh my
moon.
gosh,
So
yeah.
you
Yeah.
cannot force them to do what they don't want. So if they don't want to be a
No,
beauty pageant, you cannot make them. So yeah,
it's so
exactly.
true.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So are there any other topics that we missed that you want to add for Leo moon?
No, I feel like we nailed it. I love what you said about, the houses too, and like especially the fourth, the eighth, and the 12th. Like I
Mhm.
call those the karmic houses where we store
Yes,
all of our karmic shit and we're just like dealing with all of this stuff, right? And those can be those houses that don't want to be seen. So I love that you spoke to, in the expression of where your moon is going to feel very different as to how your Leo moon expresses. A Leo moon in the fourth house is going to express so differently than a Leo moon in the seventh house or the second house, right? And learning that house expression, I feel like really helps us understand the deeper layers of how our moon wants to do things, right? As a 10th house in the whole signs, it's 11th house. So it always wants to be seen in my chart, right? But in some people's chart, they're going to say, oh my gosh, the internet told me I'm a Leo moon, so I must sparkle and be shiny and be visible. But it's actually in the fourth house and I don't want to be seen. I want to be private. Or it's in the 12th house and I have wounds around being visible at all. And I feel like a lot of people who come into my sessions feel like the internet has told them to be one thing. And then they come in and I'm like, you don't need to do anything with your moon. You just need to feel safe in your own energy. So I really like that you spoke to the houses because it shifts everything.
everything exactly.
Yeah,
So as you said, they will be so different. Fifth house, 12th house, ninth house, for example. Uh,
exactly.
and on top of that aspects. So if moon aspects,
Exactly.
for example, as you said, that will be
Yeah.
completely different thing.
I know if no one talks about the fact that my moon is square Pluto, I mean, I would have a completely different idea of what a Leo moon is. And I'd be very confused about myself. Why did I have such a tough experience with my mom? Why did we have such power struggles? Why was there so much, resentment and anger? And we had to work through a lot of abandonment stuff. Just the Leo moon in the 10th house would never have told me that story.
Exactly. So as we always say, whole chart matters.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So I think we nailed it. We covered most of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So we can invite Latoya to share her experience or her comments. So Latoya, if you have anything to add, you are welcome to turn on your microphone and video so you can share.
Hi. So a lot of that really resonated, like the need to feel seen and sparkle and that kind of stuff. With my mother, I always felt like she took good care of me. She fed into my creativity when I was younger. I used to like to dress up and all that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of the things though that was moving towards too, as far as like career wise, I think she was proud of that stuff. So like me getting a degree in engineering and all that stuff, she was that piece she was proud of and she liked to show off, but I never was connected with that too much. So I want to be like the artist and be creative and all that stuff. So um but yeah, you hit the nail on the head on like trying to be special. So like, how do you work with this? Trying to
Yeah.
manage that. Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, your mother also is proud of you, and you are an engineer, right? But you also wanted
That's what I started
to,
as.
yeah, okay, okay,
uh,
exactly,
yeah. And it kind of the specialness kind of translated into work, trying to, kind of outperforming, even with me trying like doing real good in work. I always felt like I was never really seen at work. So not fully seen. And that always bothered me a whole lot.
yeah,
Um yeah, because I never got I never really got promotions. So it was like, why doing all this work and nobody really sees
Yeah, I
I
see.
mean, it's like I'm doing good work, but nobody really sees it. But it's always somebody that's not really doing really good. I don't know if it's like because they built a relationship with them or whatever, but yeah, it always kind of peeved me off. Even with relationship, there's this need to um feel special, and I would get that like in the first few months, but sometimes things kind of fall away. So, and especially when um your significant other has eyes towards someone else, and it's like now you don't feel special anymore. So yeah, it kind of sucks being in this mood, but I like it. So it's like a love-hate relationship with it.
Latoya, you mentioned in the chat here, yours is in the second house, yeah?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be all the self-worth stuff, all
yeah,
the like embodied heart stuff. Am I good enough to literally, it's like kind of like a double whammy because you've got
yeah,
Leo, like, am I special? And then in the second house, am I special in myself? Like, am I grounded in my ability to feel special so deeply internally that I feel safe from within? I feel secure from within. I feel rooted from within. And I can sort of, ooh, there could be this energy of like, I have to carry everything by myself, right? I have to do all the work by myself because you're trying to create that safety that your moon is literally craving. Both of them are safety. Second house and the moon crave safety, right?
yeah,
And so even the second house can have this work flavor to it, right? So not being seen at work, not being seen where money is coming in, right? Not being seen to get the promotion. There's definitely like karma that you're sorting out and healing around feeling secure from the heart and expressing that externally from within to without, if that makes sense.
that makes sense.
Hmm.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. I was also thinking about second house moon with that. And it's also like you might also want to see the financial reward of the work that you have done. But as Vika says, you can also focus on how it fulfills you. So as long as you are happy with your work, you are happy with your creativity. So that should also be something that will help you to feel more secure in a way.
Yeah, yeah. And something else, Latoya, you said there, whew, it resonated so deep for this Leo moon, is like, again, that second best feeling, right? It's like Leo moons, Leo south moons, about Leo karma is always kind of working with this energy of, "Ooh, I'm not first. I'm not the most special in the room. I'm not picked first, even if the person who's picked before you has no grounds for being picked before you. You know, they didn't put in the work. They aren't as good. They aren't as good at their job. This seems to be a repeated theme. And from my angle from karmic astrology is like it's trying to confirm to you, remember who you are. Remember you don't need that external validation. Remember you don't, it's not even about the people being as special or more special than you. It's actually a reminder to say, they weren't even as talented as me, but that's because I have to remember how talented I am. And I found more work I do around I don't need external validation. The more, my business expands, the more people who are like, I'm in to learn from you, or I'm in to do all of this with you, because that it's like clearing away the debris from the past that wanted so badly to be picked first. It's like pick yourself first, right?
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's a heavy clearing. It really is.
It is. Not, it's
Yeah.
something I've been working through for quite some time. I'm still working through it.
Yeah. And we
And
always will be.
yeah, and yeah. I mean, and there's levels to it. Not I see that I have in many ways I have grown, and there's still ways like other ways. Like I feel like I noticed that I've been triggered in some aspect uh, of the specialness lately. in the past couple years. So it's like, okay, now how do I work with this? How do I try to cater to this without, destroying everything else around me?
Understood.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we have also shown the vulnerable side of Leo moon. That exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So would you like to add any other things? Any other topics?
I feel good. I feel complete.
Yeah, me too. That's the perfect session for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You're
Okay.
welcome.
So then let's end this session. Thank you, Vika and Latoya. And this is the end of our session. And if you like these videos, please subscribe. And there will be more to come for moon signs and the other signs. So thank you, Vika, and thank you, Latoya, again. See you next time. Take care and goodbye.